Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, welcome. So tonight we are talking Petit Verdot. Tonight we're talking vertical tasting, and we're talking with Mark Simpson, owner, winemaker at Siren's Call. So what Mother Nature provided in 17, 18, and 19 in terms of Petit Verdot, because I have three wines in my glass. They smell different. They look different. And I can't wait to dig into that.
You know, each vintage is different pick date, different levels of heat units. I also might vary the mix. For example, the barrel program that we lay down really has to respect the vintage. And there's, a lot of times where I'll start, on a wine program and have an idea what the oak's going to look like, but I rarely select the oak until the wine's pressed. When I started Siren's Call brand, the first vintage was made at Synchromesh. I had three barrels that just stood out and had such unique personalities. So they came out of the Harmonious blend and became single varietal brands. Somewhat unusual. Not everybody makes Petit Verdot and Malbec. As a new brand, the way to stand out is to make interesting wine. Make wine from Pinot Gris and Merlot. Everybody's got that. So you better be damn good at those varietals to stand out in a very crowded field. I mean, you're
the Petit Verdot. I want us to talk about the picking. Is one of the last grape varietal to be taken off the vines.
Terroir where it's grown is extra special because it's very sandy soil, so good water drainage, but also it's very exceptionally well air drained. Soyuz, as you go further south, it's one of the hottest places in Canada, and we routinely get 37, 38 degrees. Exceptional air drainage means you can have up to 195 days growing season. We've picked that vineyard as late as November the 3rd in a snowstorm.
So now Petit Verdot, late ripening, usually almost one of the last to be picked up. How do you process the Petit Verdot yourself in the cellar?
Petit Verdot grapes, so thick skin, small berries, lots of space in the clusters, means that you don't necessarily have to sort it very much. Rollers on our destemmer, they go in and out like this. Rubber rollers can change the distance. So we open our destemmer rollers up quite a bit. So a Malbec berry will get, well cracked. Petit Verdot berry will just skate right through and barely get cracked. So what ends up happening due to the small diameter of the berry is the ferment is pretty much a whole berry ferment, much more so than Malbec or even Merlot. But the general strategy, I think, is to vinify each grape. I'm referring to Harmonious now, my blended wine. There's 6 grapes in it. Is to vinify each grape on its own unique trajectory. So, yeast selection, fermentation technique, and the later barrel program really have to reflect the flavor profile of that grape. And I always try and find an oak program that will lift up the varietal character, not cover it up.
If you have to define 2017 growing season, is there anything that stood in mind to you?
Thank God I have awesome growers on my team. Well, seriously, growers that can adapt to a challenging, set of climate conditions, you're going to get good fruit. Simple as that. And also the vineyard site plays a huge role. I mean, if you have good air drainage, you're not going to get cooked by an early frost.
I gave you a very uneven vintage on 17, colder vintage on 18, and warmer vintage on 19. So we have 3 very different expression of that Petit Verdot. Like the 19 is an absolute monster, like super masculine, higher in alcohol. 18, it's brighter, it's fresher, herbaceous tone in there.
There's no right and wrong. It's, in my view, those wines are fairly similar in their style and how they're made and how they present and what situations you drink them in. And I think there's
so it's a very unique type of grape. So when you as a winemaker make that type of wine, do you have an expectation of what people brings on the dinner table?
From dishes like coq au vin, cassoulet, slow cooked, concentrated, maybe some sous vide meats, something smoked, those intense flavors. The Petit Verdot is going to provide a fantastic backbone of.
What would be your favorite vintage description for a Petit Verdot?
No smoke pressure, just ripe, hot, long, sunny. Almost won my 2nd Lieutenant Governor award because we were in the final cut. Yeah, so that's 15 was a good year for sure. Customers really enjoyed that vintage. We had people that were fanatical about it. I do have a few bottles tucked away in my cellar, so anyone that comes for a visit and a sleepover, you can go find it in the cellar with the other 1,000 plus bottles down there. Newer vintages aren't available. Like, I don't sell them. I just let them sleep. I usually want 1 to 2 years of age on my big reds before I release them.
Thank you, Mark. Enjoy the rest
Okay.
of your Sunday.
Thank
I
you.
greatly appreciate your time. Thank you
Thanks
very much.
everybody watching tonight. Appreciate you joining in, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.